The emergency room was screaming chaos. Doctors running, monitors beeping, a man gasping, clutching his head like it might just fall off. Memory loss? Sudden confusion? The nurse's voice cracked with urgency. Is this a stroke? A brain attack? You could feel the tension, thick as fog. Seconds stretching like hours, then silence. Not the quiet kind, but the freeze-your-breath kind. The kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about your own mind. Now, imagine this. You wake up one morning, and your mind, your precious memory, is fogged, like a window smeared with grime. Names slip away, faces blur. You're standing there, searching for the words you just had. Wait, what was I doing? It's terrifying. It's real, and it's creeping into the lives of millions older than you. But here's the bombshell. It's not just old age. It's lifestyle, choices. And yes, the food you put on your plate. Science calls it cognitive decline, but that phrase feels cold and distant, like a science experiment. The truth? Your brain is screaming for fuel, real fuel. The kind that sharpens memory, lights up neurons, and keeps your mind dancing long into the night. What if I told you that inside your kitchen, right now, are simple, powerful foods that can turn back the clock? Foods that whisper secrets to your brain cells, telling them to grow, connect, and remember. You don't need fancy supplements or mysterious pills. You need a handful of nuts, a splash of olive oil, a burst of berries. Tiny warriors ready to defend your mind's fortress. Here's the kicker. The wrong foods do the opposite. Sugar? A thief stealing your brain's treasures. Processed junk? It's like throwing sand into a well. Slowly, steadily, your memory fades. Not overnight, but step by step. You've seen it happen to friends. I forgot my appointment again. I can't recall where I put my keys. My mind feels fuzzy, and it terrifies you because you wonder, am I next? This is why what you eat is not just about your body anymore. It's about your essence, your stories, your laughter, your legacy. Food is the key. Not magic, not mystery, but simple choices with mighty consequences. So let's dive in. Let's unlock the pantry of memory. Because every bite can be a step toward a sharper mind, a vibrant mind, a mind that remembers what matters most. But first, stop. Take a breath. Think about that moment when you forget something simple, something that used to be automatic. The moment when your brain hesitates. That's the wake-up call. And now it's time to fight back. Margaret was like so many of us, busy, caring, full of life. At 68, she was the heart of her family, the keeper of stories, recipes, and memories that stitched generations together. But then, it started small. "Where did I put my glasses?" she'd ask, more times than usual. "Did I leave the stove on?" Her husband laughed it off at first. "Just a little forgetful, that's all." But Margaret felt it too, the creeping fog in her mind, the moments when words played hide and seek. One afternoon, she was baking her famous apple pie, humming a tune from her youth, when suddenly she stopped. The apples sat peeled, untouched. She couldn't remember what came next. Frustration welled up inside her like a storm. "Why now? I've been doing this for 50 years." She felt a crack inside, like a door slowly closing on her confidence. Then came the day she got lost on a familiar walk. The path she had taken 1,000 times suddenly twisted into something unrecognizable. Panic clawed at her chest. "I'm losing myself," she whispered. That night, tears slid down her cheeks, not from sadness, but from fear. Fear that her mind, once so sharp, was slipping away. But Margaret wasn't ready to surrender. One morning she looked in the mirror and said, "This isn't me. I'm going to fight." She began reading, asking questions, and slowly she discovered something powerful. It wasn't just luck or fate. It was the food she was eating every day. She remembered the vibrant colors of fresh berries at the market, the crunch of walnuts in her salad, the golden shimmer of olive oil drizzled on her steamed veggies. She started swapping her usual sugary snacks for these simple, brain-friendly choices. And at first, Means nothing dramatic happened, just a quiet hope. Weeks later, something shifted. The fog lifted, if only a little. She found her keys without searching. She told a story at dinner without losing her train of thought. "I feel like myself again," she said softly to her husband, who smiled with relief. Margaret's journey wasn't a miracle overnight. It was a steady climb, a battle fought with every meal, every choice. She learned that memory isn't a fixed treasure locked away, but a garden that can bloom again with the right care. And you know what? Margaret's story could be yours. Maybe it already is. That moment when your mind falters, when you doubt, that's the turning point. Because inside each of us is the power to reclaim what feels lost. So, what changed for Margaret? She didn't need magic. She needed to feed her brain like she fed her soul, with love, attention, and yes, food that remembers her too. Imagine your brain as a sprawling city, vibrant, bustling, alive. Every thought, every memory is like a message racing through streets and alleyways, delivered by tiny messengers called neurons. These neurons don't just talk, they connect, forming highways of information called synapses. The stronger and faster these highways, the sharper your mind feels. Now, here's the catch. Like any city, your brain needs fuel. Not just any fuel, but the right kind. Think of it as premium gasoline for a high-performance engine. Without it, the streets get clogged, the messengers slow down, and the city starts to lose its spark. One villain in this story: inflammation. It sounds fancy, but it's simply your body's alarm system gone haywire. When you eat too much sugar or processed foods, it's like tossing garbage into the streets, clogging pathways, slowing traffic. That inflammation seeps into your brain, making it harder for neurons to connect. Memory falters, focus fades. Then there's oxidative stress. Picture tiny sparks flying off machinery, damaging everything they touch. Your brain, full of delicate cells, is especially vulnerable. Antioxidants, the superheroes found in foods like berries and nuts, rush in to neutralize those sparks, protecting your mental machinery from wear and tear. But here's what's fascinating. Your brain can grow new connections. Yes, even as we age. This is called neuroplasticity. Imagine new roads being built, shortcuts discovered. This is where those simple foods come in. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish and walnuts act like construction workers, helping build and repair these neural highways. And let's not forget glucose, the brain's main energy source. But not all glucose is created equal. Complex carbs, like whole grains and vegetables, release energy slowly, keeping your city running smoothly without crashes. In contrast, simple sugars hit like a sugar rush and crash, causing chaos in brain signals. So when you eat well, you're essentially tuning your brain's engine. You reduce inflammation, fight oxidative stress, fuel your neurons, and encourage growth. Suddenly, that fog lifts. The messages fly faster. Memories become clearer. Science isn't magic. It's the story of your brain's survival. And the good news? The power to rewrite that story is in your hands. Or, rather, on your plate. First, let me tell you about Tom. Tom loved his morning routine: a strong black coffee, no sugar, just that bitter jolt to start the day. But here's the twist. He drank it on an empty stomach, every day. You might think, what's the harm? Well, Tom's brain was getting a double whammy. The caffeine spiked his stress hormones, and without food, it made his blood sugar swing wildly. Result? His focus crashed by mid-morning, and memory slips crept in. What changed? Tom swapped his black coffee for a small bowl of oatmeal topped with blueberries before sipping his brew. Suddenly, his mind stayed steady. No crashes. The berries packed antioxidants. The oats gave slow-release energy. His brain's traffic flowed smoothly again. Second story, meet Linda. She was a serial snacker, often reaching for chips or cookies to fill the quiet moments. But those snacks were sneaky culprits, loaded with sugars and unhealthy fats that inflamed her brain's delicate networks. She started noticing forgetfulness creeping in. Wait, what was I saying? she'd ask mid-conversation. The breakthrough came when Linda discovered walnuts. A handful a day replaced her chips. Why walnuts? They're rich in omega-3s, the building blocks for neuron repair. Months later, Linda felt sharper. Conversations flowed easier. And that foggy feeling? It lifted like morning mist. Finally, here's something about olive oil. Not just any oil, but extra virgin, cold-pressed magic. George, a retired teacher, always cooked with cheap vegetable oil. His memory was okay, but he never felt truly bright. When he switched to drizzling his meals with quality olive oil, things changed. That healthy fat fights inflammation and fuels brain cells. George noticed a new clarity. Puzzles were easier, names stuck better. It's like his brain was bathing in sunshine, simple, delicious, powerful. So remember, start your day with real fuel. Swap empty snacks for brain-boosting nuts. And choose your cooking oils like you'd pick a fine wine, with care. Your brain city will thank you. Look, I'm not here to sell you a miracle or a magic pill. This is real life, real choices, and real power, yours. Because every bite you take is a vote for the mind you want tomorrow. You might think, it's too late. My memory is fading. But listen, no, really listen, to Margaret's voice inside you. The one that said, I'm not giving up. That's not stubbornness. That's strength. That's life. This isn't about fighting a losing battle. It's about reclaiming your story. The stories you tell at family dinners, the laughter you share, the memories you build every day. Your mind is not a fragile relic. It's a living garden waiting for the right care to bloom again. So take a breath. Feel it. The chance to change, to grow, to remember is here. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. And when you reach for that handful of walnuts, that splash of olive oil, or those juicy berries, know this: you're not just eating food. You're feeding hope, feeding resilience, feeding the fierce, brilliant mind that's still very much alive inside you. Keep fighting, keep choosing, keep remembering, because your mind deserves nothing less.